Hey, good morning, everybody. What's going on? Everybody who's an Atlanta Hawks fan, a true to Atlanta Hawks fan, this is Chris of Around the ATL. And first and foremost, I want to say this. Some people just want to see the world burn. Going back to some Batman theme right there, right? Alfred. Some people don't want to see the Hawks win. They don't want them to make the playoffs this year. They're betting people money how the Hawks are not going to finish at a certain seed. There was people who hated seeing all those Hawks fans jumping up and down and being hyped, seeing the players hyped, seeing the players excited, mad that fans are posting and being excited. Just like the people who were mad that the Falcons fans were excited the other day, watching their team go down the field and score a winning touchdown in overtime. Some people don't like joy. Some people don't like being happy. They just don't. And those people, you got to stay away from them. That being said, the Atlanta Hawks won their first preseason game last night. And I'm here to talk about that a little bit. But look out for some upcoming shows, some actual regular episodes. I'm just doing this off the fly this morning just because I got a little bit of time. I want to go over some of what happened last night, but I am going to do a video of the first half of last night. I wasn't planning to, but I have to do it, and I'll tell you why in a second. So, that being said, if you've never watched Around the ATL, I encourage you to. I ask you to, of course. Go visit IMTN Worldwide Radio on YouTube, and you'll see all Around the ATL episodes there. What I do is I talk about Atlanta sports. And my co-host Jordan Jackson, we do a 2-hour show typically, and we talk about the Braves, the Falcons, the Hawks, Atlanta United, Atlanta Dream, the new volleyball team, Atlanta Vibe, um, college sports as well, UGA, Georgia Tech, every now and again, Georgia State, Albany State, Clark, all the sports in the state of Georgia and Atlanta, we talk about it. I also do a side show called Side Notes, where I actually break down a particular aspect of Atlanta sports, whether it be the Hawks or Falcons or a particular player. What is that noise? And over the last couple of months, I've been doing breakdowns of games from the 2023 season. I've done breakdowns of players to show here's what actually happened last year and why we gave up points shot for shot. I did video shot for shot of all these games, but then also breaking down some of the newer players coming in and why they will be valuable. So if you go back and you watch all the episodes, you'll see a culmination of everything that we saw last night, actually, which is the other reason I'm doing this video, just to show people I'm not crazy. I was spot on with pretty much everything I said, if not more so. And I'll get into that in a little bit. So what happened last night? So what I'm gonna do is just kind of give you a little bit of an element, but 20 minutes the starters played approximately 20, 22 minutes or so. In his 23 minutes, you had Hunter go 2 for 10, over 6 from 3. He did have 4 assists, which he never passes that much in real life, obviously, with 1 assist a game average for his career, basically, right? He had 2 steals as well, but he had 4 points, right? Which is why I say he needs to come off the bench. But that's not why he needs to come off the bench primarily. It's his defense that he still doesn't play. That he needs to come off the bench. Jalen Johnson, in his 22 minutes, went 8 for 12 from the floor. He hit his only three, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. He had 10 rebounds. He had 3 steals. He did have 4 turnovers last night, but he had 19 points. Clint, in his 19 minutes, was 3 for 6 from the floor. He actually hit all 5 of his free throws. He had 9 rebounds. He had an assist. Dyson, in his 21 minutes, his first as a Hawk, he was 5 of 8 from the floor. Oh, he can't score. He can't shoot. All that. He was 1 of 3 from 3, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He had 3 assists, 2 steals. Trey Young, in his first game, 20 minutes even, well, 20 minutes, 38 seconds, was 5 of 10 from the floor, 3 of 5 from 3, He did miss some free throws there. He had 6 assists, only had 1 turnover. And our rookie, who should be rookie of the year, but he won't because he plays for the Hawks. He was 7 of 9 from the floor, 3 of 4 from three, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Only had 1 turnover. Then off the bench. Now remember, this is basically a split squad game. So the second half, basically, you had Kobe Buffkin, who had 21 minutes. He was 3 of 8 from the floor, hit a three, hit both of his free throws, had 3 boards, 4 assists, had a steal, had a block, which is why I say he should be the backup point guard. Yeah, Larry Nance Jr. in 18 minutes was 4 of 5 from the floor. He hit a three. He hit 2 free throws. He had 3 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals. He had Vitt in 23 minutes was 3 of 5 from the floor. He hit a three. He had 6 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Garrison, he only played 10 minutes. He hit 2 threes. Roddy the Body hit all of his shots. He had 4 rebounds, obviously, 2 assists. Who else played? Kumo G only had 10 minutes. He only scored 2 points, I believe. He had 2 assists, though. He had 4 boards. Barlow got the tip pass out so Seth can hit that game-winning three. He only played 2 minutes and 52 seconds to do that. He did hit his only shot of the game as well. He also had 3 rebounds in those little bit of minutes. And then Seth Lundy, of course, played 2 minutes and 52 seconds as well. He hit the game-winning three. That's what he's there for, to hit game winners, right? So, but what happened in the first quarter, though? Let's check that out. In the first quarter, DeAndre Hunter was 0 for 5 and 0 for 3 from 3, and he had nothing to revert to. And one of the things I've been talking about with Hunter over the last couple of years, and definitely the last couple of months, is that his unwillingness to learn things. He still has no handles. He still has no post game. As big as he is, he has nothing but that jumper. And as my co-host Jordan Jackson keeps saying, he thinks he's Carmelo Anthony out there. And he'll just keep a shooting. And then on top of that, not stop nobody from scoring, which is one of the reasons I'm going to do a first, second quarter review of last night's game, just to show y'all how much he don't play no defense still. I just played a clip where Siakam is coming down the lane and Hunter just says, "Oh, you got it." And in the 8 games that I showed of the regular season, the 8 games that we finished last year of the 2023 season, 7 of them Hunter played in, I showed you time and time again how Hunter will just let somebody lay the ball up. He's right there. He can contest the shot, and he just lets it happen. But nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about the fact he's never been first, second all defense. He's never been Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Never. Drafted him 4th. Defensive Player of the Year in college basketball and the ACC. Yet we've not seen now piece of that. But in the first quarter, Jalen Johnson went 3 for 4. Dyson Daniels went 3 for 3. Trae Young went 2 for 3. And Zach went 2 for 2 in the first quarter. In the second quarter, Hunter went 0 for 3. Jalen Johnson 3 for 6. Clint even went 2 for 4. And again, these were just half games. Didn't play much after that. So again, what is Hunter's value right now? Is very little. He's expendable. For me, he's been expendable for a while just because of the defense. The points can be replaced. As you can see last night, we got plenty of points. Points has never been the problem. I've been talking about that for years. Scoring points has never been the problem. Stopping points has. And when shooting guards last year scored 30 points a game and small forwards scored 27 points a game against the Atlanta Hawks, there's your problem. The Hawks lost 21 games by 7 points or less last year, That's a problem. And so that's why over the last couple of months, I talked about the skill positions and having positions that have skills and the skill sets and the usage and how those things can change if you get the right ones. And this is the first year since the 2020 season that we actually got some pieces that can actually work out if they're used correctly. We saw a glimpse of that last night. Dyson Daniels out there playing the shooting guard position and defending. Zachary as the #1 draft pick playing. You see what I'm saying? So at a certain point, we gotta let go of the things that don't work, haven't worked for a while. And this includes Clint Capella, unfortunately for y'all, for some of y'all. Okay, those things can be evened out. And again, it makes our team deeper. It makes our team better if you got Bogey coming off the bench, Hunter coming off the bench, Clint coming off the bench as veterans. And y'all will get to see that over time this season, if what I hope happens happens. As soon as Okongwu, and I just did a show on Okongwu, go check it out on Around the ATL on IMTN Worldwide Radio on YouTube. I just did a show about Okongwu and why he should be started, why he should have been started by now already. And I broke it down. And I also gave y'all video because some of y'all, again, don't like to read. That's fine. I don't care about that. But here's the actual game footage. Here's the examples, as well as what he's actually done when he started. I gave you examples. Because again, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove, right? So here's what he's actually done when he's gotten real starter minutes. Here's his 3-point percentage over the last 4 years, going up, 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 up. Clint can't hit a three still. 10 seasons and he's taken 5 in his whole career. Can't make that up. It's true. Why deny it? If you can't be a threat from somewhere else than under the basket, you got to hit all your shots under the basket, right? And again, he did hit 5 free throws last night. That's great. But we needed that a lot last year and the year before that and the year before that, and we couldn't get it. I would love to see Clint Capella shoot 70% from the line. Well, Okongwu already shoots 79% from the line. It's a lot of games we could have won, those close ones that we lost. So go look at that show on Okongwu and you'll see what I'm talking about. But last night, again, you saw the elements of Barlow being out there on the floor and Seth Lundy a little bit on the floor, David Roddy the Body being on the floor, Larry Nance Jr. being on the floor, Kobe Buffkin on the floor. And you just saw the energy, right? You did see that, right? You synced it, right? And again, this is a split game. It's a preseason game. You don't have everything going, and I'm gonna look at some of the play-by-plays and things of that nature and break it down. But I just look at it from the standpoint of length. And if you have Dyson and Zach out there, guess what can go up? Block shots per game. Hawks were 26 in blocks last year, bottom of the league. With Dyson and Zach out there, you got a little bit more propensity for people getting some blocks, especially in the paint. In fact, let me check something else real quick while I'm thinking about it. Ew, well, it's preseason. We gave up 64 points in the paint last night. That's bad. But it's still the first preseason game. Indiana gave up 60 themselves. Indiana had 19 second chance points last night. They had 17 fast break points. The Hawks, though, had 24 fast break points. That's something to look at as a positive. Hawks had 10 second chance points. Hawks are 38% from 3, We only gave up 33% from three on the other side. Both teams shot about 52%. The turnovers is preseason. I ain't worried about that just yet. Um, both teams had 14 steals. Both teams rebounded exactly the same amount, 43. Man, 64 points in the paint. That's I almost have to look at the whole game now. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I have time, but looking at some of these other things real quick. So one of the things was Siakam, obviously. Let me pull up Siakam real quick. He was 6 of 8 from the floor. He only played 15 minutes. He only played 15 minutes. He was 6 of 8 from the floor, had 15 points, had 4 assists, had a steal. Miles Turner didn't play, thankfully. But James Wiseman was 4 of 4 from the field himself, had 8 points. Tyrese only played 15 minutes. He had 8 points. Who else had a good game last night? Not too many people. TJ McConnell went 4 for 4 from the field, had 10 points himself. But remember, this is a team that last year, the last game of the season, game 82, one of the games that I reviewed on around the ATL, scored 157 points against us last game of the season. And earlier that season, they scored 157. So this is progress at least, you know. But they still scored 130. You know what I'm saying? So that's not good. So one of the things I talked about in the reviews that I've done over the last couple months is the Hawks have to either score a few more points or disallow a few points. Because the Hawks last year, off the top of my head, I believe, scored 118 points a game. They gave up 120 points a game on most nights. So that was never going to work. Your win-loss total can't work like that. But you got a team like the Pacers who score 128 points a game. It negates their lack of defense from a year ago because they could outscore most teams, right? The Hawks really couldn't do that last year. You see what I'm saying? And since they couldn't stop nobody, who were we stopping in the post last year? What wings were we stopping last year? You see what I'm saying? Again, shooting guards averaged 30 points a game against the Atlanta Hawks last year. Malachi Flynn scored 50 points against the Hawks. That's one of the other games that I showed you. You see what I'm saying? So where is that going to even out at? I don't believe we're going to have anybody scoring 50 points on the Hawks this year. Not with Dyson Daniels out there saying he wants to be a defensive stalwart. He wants to be first team all defense out there. Last year, Dyson Daniels in his second year in the league was a top playmaker on defense. He's just 21 years old now. And again, Zachary is going to have a propensity on defense because he can move. Flexibility goes a long way. When you can move your feet and when you want to move your feet, which is something that Hunter won't do, can't do, it makes a difference. And again, the open shots, the uncontested shots that Hunter gives up, it's not worth it having him out there playing major minutes. Let him score 13, 14 points off the bench and let him play against the second team. Maybe he'll play better defense against the second team. Same thing with Bogey. Bogey gives up way too many open shots because he never stays with his assignment. Let's not worry about that. Let's let him come off the bench and score. If we're ahead, we don't need him to come out in the fourth quarter. If we're behind, yeah, bring him out. Let him hit a couple of shots possibly. But all in between that, he doesn't need to be on anybody's best scorer on the other team. It makes no sense. Everybody can score off of him because he won't stay on his assignment. I have the video to show y'all that. I've showed it to you in detail. That Dallas game that we played last year, he gave up 7 3-pointers in that one game. That's 21 points by one player. You can't have that happen no more. He needs to play 22, 23 minutes at the most and get him out of there. And we can win some games. We can be competitive. We can compete against the league if you do that. You see what I'm saying? And again, as far as Clint goes, again, Clint is no threat on offense. There's nothing that he can do on his own. It's been like that forever because he won't learn a jump shot. He won't learn any post moves. He doesn't have any touch around the rim. I've shown that countless times through his actual statistics in 10 years, but then also game film, right? But at a certain point, that's where O comes in to say he hit 73% from 0 to 5 feet out from the rim. That's highest on the team. There's 4 other people that are higher than Clint at that mark, and 2 of them are guards. Okay, he can hit his free throws. He can hit threes. He can hit a jumper. O can, Okongwu, and then he can play post defense. He can switch. Clint won't come out the paint to contest 3-point shooters. Gives up a lot of threes during games. When you lose 21 games by 7 points or less, those things count. Counts a lot. It's painful to watch sometimes. How much he's just so engraved in just getting the rebound rather than actually contesting the shot instead. There was one time he was blocking out somebody before the shot went up. The shot hadn't even appeared. He's blocking out though, instead of participating on the defensive end. See, that's not good. I have video of that countless times. So for me, that's why Clint should come off the bench and just concentrate on getting rebounds. Just get all the rebounds, Clint. That is your job. Get all of the rebounds, and then we're good. And then he'd be valuable on that end. But he can't be in the fourth quarter. Why? He can't score. Everybody knows he can't score. If he gets the ball, he's not scoring. Double team somebody else who can score. And even if he does get the ball and he tries to score, there ain't no guarantee. He's not proficient. And then if you foul him, is he going to hit the free throws? Just because he hit 5 free throws in preseason don't mean he's going to hit 5 free throws the whole rest of the season. Not to me. Not when he's a career. Check the number before I say it. I don't like saying stuff that ain't true. This ain't going to tell me. Clint Capella free throw percentage career is 54%. So when you're 54% from the free throw line, I don't need you going to the line in crunch time in a 2-point game that we need both to tie, or we got a 3-point lead and we can make it a 5-point lead, or that's too much. A hack a Capella. We don't need that. But you can't hack Okongwu because he's going to hit both free throws every time. Every time. He's an 80% free throw shooter. That needs to be valued. He rebounds. All the games he's played in, he's getting 8 to 10 rebounds every game or more. He had a 20 rebound game one night. 18 points, 20 rebounds, 5 blocks. Like all those things that you say you want, he can provide, plus hit a shot. That makes your team better. He plays better post defense than anybody on our team because he can move his feet. He can guard multiple players because of that. And if you go watch the video, the episode I did on Okongwu this week, you'll see that for yourself because I showed you 10 minutes worth of game footage. Actually, 12 minutes worth of game footage. Just showing you play on play. I said the Hawks will make the 6th seed this year. I believe that because I'm telling you again now. Someone wants to try to bet me that they won't. And I'm like, why would you bet against your own team that they're not going to make the 6th seed and that you want them to be worse than that? Why would you do that? Voluntarily, knowingly do that. And it's not just me, he's betting all kind of people. And then saying that you don't believe in the team. I'm like, you don't believe in the team. And that's all I got to say about that. I want the team to succeed. But to do that, you got to make the changes to succeed. And this is the time to do it. You can't fiddle faddle, wiggle waggle out of it anymore. The franchise made some moves to finally address some issues, and I believe it's going to translate. And last night was our first little taste of it. Again, albeit it's the preseason, you're getting the kinks out. This is the first time they've played together as a group against another team per se, and all that kind of, game action and all that kind of good stuff. Again, you got turnovers and, you're only playing your starters for 20 minutes, 18 minutes, 20 minutes or so. You're messing around with your lineups a little bit as far as substitution patterns and all that kind of good stuff. But the production, well, dang, what happened? The production speaks for itself. And I'm going to read it off again real quick. The production speaks for itself. Jalen Johnson had 19. Dyson Daniels had 14. There's people, oh, Dyson Daniels, he can't score, he can't do this, he might be able to play defense, but he can't contribute and everything like that. And I've actually done a show on Around the ATL, by the way, showing here's some defensive players that were only known for their defense and for a 7-year stretch were either first or second team all defense and or defensive player of the year candidates and or winners, and they scored 5 points a game. And they were starters. When you can stop 20 points a night or more every night, that's valuable. Look, he can actually get buckets, though. He showed you that. You synced it for yourself, right? He wasn't a starter the last couple of years in New Orleans. If he starts now, he's going to be able to contribute a whole heck of a lot more. 1, because he's been working on his game, and 2, because he wants to. There you go. And 3, he has Trae Young on his team. So that's a whole nother story. Trae had 17. Zach had 18. Larry Nance Jr. had 11. Kobe had 9. Riley the Body had 8. Garrison Matthews had 6. I mean, again, if you use your whole team, if you use the pieces that you do have, you can win games. Bogey didn't play this game, right? Bogey gets a good 12 to 14, 15 points a game. And despite Hunter only getting 4 points, you see, the team scored 131 points with Hunter scoring 4 and Bogey not playing. Not bad. First game out. And think about this. Vitt had 6 assists. Kobe had 4 assists. Shoot, Larry Nance had 3 assists himself. And even though Jalen Johnson didn't have any assists last night, which is atypical, he can pass the ball, which is the other reason I want him to play with Okongwu, because they play very, very, very well together. That's been a proven fact over the last couple of years. As bigs, they pass it to each other a lot. They know how to play together. Dyson Daniels had 3 assists. Zach had 2 assists himself. So again, we need to bench Hunter, let the number 1 draft pick start, and let Hunter come in behind him as a vet. You start Dyson Daniels, the defender, who can also score. And then you bring in Bogey as you need to. And sometimes Bogey and Hunter won't play as much one side or the other depending on matchups. Think about that. And then again, as soon as Okongwu is ready to start, you bring Clint off the bench. But you also have Larry Nance, who could play the 5 or the 4, depending on how you feel about Mohamed Gay. Nance is a veteran. Nance is a veteran that can really play very well. That's an advantage us. Yeah, he might not have the size, but he has all the other tools that helps you out, right? And he's a threat on the court to score, which we haven't really had. And he brings the energy on defense, which Bruno couldn't. Again, sometimes a lot of things is by subtraction makes us better. Bruno gave up a lot of points off the bench as well. There's games that he would give up 16 points off the bench in his minutes. Him being gone is a good thing for us. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Again, are we trying to win or are we just trying to kind of skate by? Unfortunately, DJ wasn't playing a lot of defense last couple years. It is what it is, but we'll be better with him not being here now, just because of the defensive side of the ball. I showed you video, shot for shot. It's not good video. You got to want to play defense. That's the one thing that's primarily on effort is playing defense. That's why I always talk about when I play basketball, what is your job? I have a show called What's the Point when I actually address jobs on the court. What is your initial job on the court? And are you willing to do that job no matter what? Whatever else you're good at, you do got your one job. Some people are better at passing. Some people are better at getting rebounds. Some people are better at blocking shots. Some people are better at shooting. Some people are better at scoring. That's two different things, shooting and scoring, right? Whatever your main thing is, you need to do that very well, but then be able to do a few other things well as well, if that makes sense. And to never get better at anything over time is crazy. Again, I would feel terrible playing basketball for 40 years and never be able to hit a jump shot, never be able to hit a baby hook, never be able to hit a turnaround jumper off the backboard. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. It should be to you, but for some reason, for a lot of people, it's excusable because of 10 rebounds a game that are ineffectual at changing the game most nights. That's just the truth. And I actually did a show breaking down. All right, look at all these 10 rebound games, but did we win the game because of those 10 rebounds? Are they 10 defensive rebounds? Are we getting 3 blocks a game on top of that? Are we playing great post defense on top of that? Because otherwise, those 10 rebounds don't mean that much if 4 of them are offensive rebounds that you're not putting back in, and the other 6 rebounds are defensive rebounds. That's not enough possessions to change a game, is it? Not after you lost 21 games by 7 points or less. It's not. I showed that. I did a whole show about it. Because that's the reason some people say we got to keep Clint as a starter. I'm like, no. And I also addressed the other part of it. Oh, well, Congo ain't starting because he ain't ready. No, it's because of money. And we got to stop that nonsense too. Last year, Hunter did play off the bench for a part of the season. And he's making $22 million a year. So if he can come off the bench, Clint can sure come off the bench. Russell Westbrook comes off the bench. How much money does he make a year? A lot. We got to be able to compete per what we got against all these other teams that who have continued to make moves over the last 6 years to get better, especially in the Eastern Conference where we play, right? Look at what the Knicks have continually done over the last 4 years since getting knocked out the first round against the Hawks. Look what they have done in the off seasons, draft, free agency, and trades compared to the Hawks. Completely different, right? Look what Philadelphia has done. Heck, even the Bucks went and got Dame. Didn't work out the first year, but it could this year. You don't know. Look what Boston has done, for crying out loud. The Miami Heat, they make those little subtle moves, but the Miami Heat have been to the finals twice in the last 6 years. So have the Celtics. Milwaukee and Toronto have a championship within that time. Cleveland Cavaliers went to the finals in 2018. The Hawks aren't supposed to be where they are and where they have been. And the franchise up till now have just refused to do anything to make the team better over time until this year, this offseason. They made some moves. Some of them looked subtle, some of them were outright. It was going to be a change. And again, you're gonna if you go back far enough, you'll see a video where I wasn't really happy about the draft initially because I felt it didn't address a need. Since 1996, the Hawks have drafted 3 players 7 feet or more: Priest Lauderdale, Keith Benson, and Eddie Tavares. That's our history. Think about all the other centers and bigs that we've had to play against in the last 20 plus years and how we've been undersized and never addressed it. And you got people balling all over us. We lose games, right? So this time I thought we had a chance to actually do that, one way or the other. And I said as much the next night on the show. But then after that, I looked at everything and I went through everything and I actually did some new episodes and I did some video breakdowns and stuff. And I said, you know what though? If we do this, that, and the third, we actually could be a better team as such. But mainly if Clint doesn't start. Mainly if Bogey and Hunter don't start. If those things happen, we have a chance because now we can put players on the floor that can better match up to today's NBA. Again, you saw Barlow out there. Have you seen Barlow's tape? Barlow is all about being able to move with bigs, to be able to fight through screens, be able to rotate, being a help defender. We gave up 53 or more points a game last year as a Hawk team, mostly because we had no help defense. None. It did not exist. If you wanted a layup, you were going to get a layup against the Atlanta Hawks. It's easy. I showed you the tape. I only showed you 8 games. It told you all you needed to know. We can't fight through screens. We don't know how to rotate. We overhelp. We don't get back on defense. We don't block out. We don't contest threes. We gave up 14 threes a game last year. I showed y'all 3 games in a row, and I talked about it with the interview on with Bob Rathbun a couple of weeks ago. We had 3 games in a row. Dallas Mavericks, 18 threes. Denver Nuggets, 23 threes. And the Miami Heat, 18 threes. 3 straight games? And Trey didn't play none of those, so you can't blame him. How do you give up 23 threes in a basketball game, y'all? It's 48 minutes. That wasn't overtime. 23? That's wild. So I broke all of those things down to show here's how you change it, though. Here's how we can change those things. Last night, and again, it's preseason. Let's see how many they actually hit last night total. Hopefully it don't mess me up and it'd be too many. Is this Indiana? They hit 13 threes last night, so that's 1 less. But here's the deal. They shot 33% from 3. So that's something. That's progress right there. Because most of the times when these teams are hitting all these threes against us, I mean, my God, the Pacers, the last game of last year, game 82, Pacers hit 52% from 3. The Denver Nuggets, when they beat us 142 to whatever, they blew us out, they shot 56% from 3. They shot 60% from the floor that game. And again, who are our primary defenders on the floor? How come they weren't stopping everybody? Go watch that game. I showed it to y'all. Nuggets versus Hawks. You can go watch it right now. Okay? All I did was show y'all this is what actually happened last year. And here's why we lost a lot of games. It wasn't what you thought. Here's the actual reality. And this has to change for us going forward to be competitive in the Eastern Conference and to win the 2 games a year against the Western Conference. We got to do it. Got to do it. But 2 for 10 from Hunter and no defense, we don't need that. Have that coming off the bench and let Zach do his thing. I'd much rather have a potential 7-9 game and 3 for 4 from 3 every night, and the ability to make passes as well and be a better defender than Hunter. I'd rather have that on the floor every night. Start it. Quit playing around. He's the #1 pick for a reason, right? Better believe in him. Dyson Daniels, 14 points. We get 14 points a game out of him the whole season. That's all you need. Oh, well, Chris, it ain't 22 points like with DJ. DJ wasn't playing no defense. Don't matter. But we get defense with Dyson Daniels, though. That's important to have. So that's all I'm going to talk about this morning. Like I said, I'm going to do a first and second quarter review of last night's game just to show the starters' minutes primarily, as much as I can. So look out for that. I do plan on doing a few more game reviews of 2023 before the season starts. I don't know which games I'm picking out yet, so look out for that as well. But check out the show Around the ATL. Subscribe to the IMTN Worldwide page. Share it with at least one Atlanta Hawks fan. I appreciate that. If you can do that, that'd be cool. I forgot to change my blinds. I finally figured out how to get this. It's so stupid. The sun comes up right by where my residence is, and yesterday I just finally figured out what to do to change the sun in my eyes and stuff, but I didn't do that this morning because I forgot. But anyway, last night was really fun. We needed it. We've been waiting for Hawks basketball all this time. Last year was so disappointing, but again, every beginning of the season, you always have a chance. It's the beginning of the season. Everybody has a chance to win the world championship at the beginning of the season because everybody's 0-0. And again, I'm going to repeat this as I have. You knew when you became a Hawks fan that the Hawks had never won a championship, however old you are. And you also knew that there was a chance that the Hawks may never win a championship. But you decided that you were going to be a Hawks fan anyway. So why would that ever change? And why would you disbelieve in your team having a chance until your team is eliminated from the playoffs each year? Why would you ever wish your team to lose more games? And again, remember, the Hawks didn't get the #1 pick because they lost the most games. The Detroit Pistons lost the most games. They didn't get the #1 pick, did they? They lost 68 games last year, folks. We were almost one of those losses at the end of last year when Malachi Flynn dropped 50 points in Atlanta. Couldn't stop him. Didn't even double team him, which I talk about in the video. But this year could be completely different. And I believe the Hawks are going to finish at least 6th in the conference. I believe the Hawks are going to get out the first round this year. I believe that. Want to know why? Because we do have Trae Young on our team. He ain't no slouch. As much as y'all want him to be, some of y'all, I got to keep saying some of y'all, not all of y'all. He's one of the best point guards in NBA history right now. History tells you that. You don't got to believe me. History tells you that. Hawks history tells you that. Because otherwise, Jeff Teague would be that guy. Or Dennis Schroeder would be that guy. Or Speedy Claxton, who we still are paying under the table somehow, would be that guy. But none of those guys elevated themselves to be the best point guard in Hawks history in 6 seasons. Dominique Wilkins averaged 26 points in the playoffs. Who else has done that? Trae Young. And nobody talked about Dominique Wilkins' efficiency in the playoffs. Why? Because without Dominique, you're not even in the playoffs. You're not competing in the playoffs. Oh, well, Chris, Trae ain't that efficient. Well, you weren't talking about that as we were knocking out the Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers and taking it to the Milwaukee Bucks until he got hurt We were 2 games away from the finals. Nobody said nothing about efficiency back then, nor against the Boston Celtics 2 years ago, as he almost single-handedly eliminated them. But since nobody could stop Jason Tatum from scoring 27 points a game or Brown from scoring 22 points a game, we lost that series. We just needed some stops, some stoppage from our best defensive player. That's all I want. I just want people who are capable of doing it to do what they do. That's all I want. Why don't y'all want that? Why do y'all think Trae Young's supposed to be Gary Payton? He wasn't drafted to be Gary Payton. Why didn't we get Young Bull instead if that's what y'all wanted, right? Trae Young does his job. And that's what I was talking about earlier in the show called What's the Point? Make sure you check out that show. Trae Young's supposed to distribute the ball and also score. If we have other scorers, he won't have to score as much, but he's still going to distribute the ball. And guess now, look at what he got now to play with. He got even more people who can finish at the rim, finish jump shots. Man, Trae Young might have 12 assists a game this year. Because all he does is pass the ball. Think about all the passes that go unfinished just cause. Now, he passes a lot to get 11 assists a game last year that he did. Missing 28 games at that. He would have led the league in assists again last year, y'all. Y'all know that, right? With the rosters that he has been on. He's a league leader in assists every year, no matter what. Think about as players get better, skill sets get better. Where are you at? Because that's his job. If it's your job to stop people in the post from scoring points, we need that. More than we've had. Because other teams do it to us. Other teams stop us. They can play us, but we can't play them. That's nonsense. We can do it, we just haven't. There's a big difference. And that's why, like I said, these changes, even with getting Roddy the Body out there, he's going to bring something to the table that we hadn't had in a minute. Right? Barlow give you some things that we hadn't had in a minute. Larry Nance Jr. gives you something that we hadn't had in a minute. And if Vitt really does come into his own this year, he could be a huge wild card, but that's another reason why I say Hunter is expendable. Because as long as Hunter is here, Vitt ain't going to be able to get but so many minutes, technically. Once Bogey comes back, or when Bogey starts playing or whatnot, and O comes back, right? I believe this is the time to go ahead and get us a draft pick for Hunter. Or go all out and go ahead and get Ayton up in here. Shoot. You still bring O off the bench, or you got Ayton out there giving you 18 and 10, 20 and 10 possibly, with Trae on the team. Ayton has 2 18 and 10 seasons under his belt. He can hit all the shots and his free throws. He's a true get it guy. And on this team, make us even more dangerous. Give you the size to go up against the Porzingises of the world, and all the other guys are in the league. Ware in Miami. Did y'all see Ware last night? I posted about him on Twitter. Did y'all see that kid? Lord have mercy. Clint can't play him. Anyway, let me get out of here. It's been 50 minutes. Make sure you subscribe to the IMTN Worldwide Radio page. It'll be listed there. Watch all the Around the ATL episodes over the last few weeks. Definitely watch the Okongwu show I just did recently. Also look at the interview of Bob Rathman that I did a week and a half ago. Check that out. If you like Bob Rathman, you respect Bob Rathman. He's in the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame. 28 years broadcasting Atlanta Hawks games. You got to love that, right? You can also listen to some of our other interviews. Dominique Wilkins has been on the show. Many other people. Go check it out. Steve Holman from 92.9 The Game has been on the show many times. And we're going to try to get Steve on before the beginning of the season, but We might wait until All-Star break, possibly, to get Steve on. So we'll see. But anyway, y'all, let me get out of here. Y'all take care. This is Chris around the ATL. Peace.